I recently spoke to 3 Shopify businesses who had each spent over $10,000 building their new Shopify store, and each and every one of them was unhappy with the store and wanted us to come in and help them improve it. And it got me thinking, why does this keep happening? It's something I hear a lot. Lots of brands come to us and they're unhappy with a previous developer or team or agency. But particularly with full site rebuilds that cost a lot of money, I started to think to myself, how is it possible that someone can put so much money down the drain, can spend so much money on a project, and at the end of it, not have the results that they're looking for? Surely at some point along the way, you would have realized or noticed that things were not going to plan and hopefully corrected the course. And so what I'm going to do in this video is provide you with 3 tips that you can implement to ensure that you don't get scammed when building your new Shopify store, and make sure that you guys can not only work well with the teams that you do work with, but also get the most out of them and generate the most amount of revenue that you can from the Shopify store itself. So to get started, the first tip is making sure that you are not just working with a developer or a development team. And this is one of the easiest things to avoid, just because if you're going to work with someone, you first need to ask them what their team structure is and what their capabilities are. And if you are talking with an agency or an individual that just talks about how good they are at coding or how good they are at development, and they could be really good at that, that's a huge red flag. The reason being is because whenever you build anything, let's say you're building a house, for example, you want some type of architectural drawings to be done. You want some type of layout to be predetermined or decided prior to going into building the house. And it can't be very vague. Like, you don't just hire a builder and just say to him, okay, I want 2 bedrooms and 1 living room and a big garden. And then he goes and builds the house. You need this actually written down on a piece of paper, clearly defined and clearly drawn out, so that there is no ambiguity on either side. Both parties are extremely clear in terms of what needs to be done and what should be expected from both parties. So what we typically do when we work with clients is we always use a software called Figma to mock up all of our product pages, home pages, any page template or build, or even smaller component like an individual section or a mega menu or something along those lines. We always use Figma to build this stuff first. And then once things have been signed off on Figma, we then go to development. And typically, to do a good job in Figma, you do need a designer, someone who has experience with Figma and someone who is good at art and design and has experience with layouts and e-com structures and things like that. So I would definitely recommend that you ensure that you're working with a team that has a developer, and make sure that this is part of the process. Never, ever go to development until you've got your designs down first. That brings me to my second tip, which is making sure that you're clear on the UX of the store itself. One of the brands that I spoke to recently spent a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money making their store look really pretty, only to push it live and see their conversion rates drop off a cliff. And that can be extremely frustrating because you spent a lot of money to invest in the business and to try and grow the business. And upon pushing this new project live, this new website live, you've seen the opposite. You spent a lot of money and now you're earning less money. So it's like a double whammy, right? Now, what you want to do in this case is during that design phase, you really want to make sure, in an ideal world, this should be coming from the team that you're working with, but you should still do your own due diligence. And when things are being mocked up, look at it from the user's point of view. Is my product being sold here? Is my product being explained? Do we have clear pain points that are being addressed? Clear objections that are being handled? Do we have an FAQ section that answers frequently asked questions? Do we have a clear above the fold section that highlights brand and product USPs? Is it easy for people to navigate the website and find products, and so on and so forth? Now, you might think to yourself, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if this is an easy to understand product page or not. First of all, don't overcomplicate it. Just look at it like a user arriving on the page for the first time. Try to imagine that you don't know what your brand is or what your product is. Scroll through the page in the design stage and just try and understand, do I know what this product does? Do I have all the information that I feel like my clients, my customers need to know in order to make a purchase? And obviously, if you don't, then there's an issue here. Those designs need to be improved. And if you're still struggling with this, then you might need to hire some type of UX expert or CRO specialist to come in and audit those designs and provide you or the team that you're working with some actionable steps. Even better than that would be if the team itself does have a CRO specialist or a UX specialist inside of the team. And obviously, they'll do that internally before the designs get back to you. And then my final tip really just revolves around having clear communication and being transparent on both sides about how things are going to affect timelines and results. So this happens to us sometimes where A brand will come in, they're really excited to get started, we're excited to get started. We get started on the project, we send over a brief, they respond with everything filled out that we need from them, we get started on the project, everything's going smoothly, and then the client changes their mind on something, and they want something else. And that's okay. Like, it's perfectly fine for clients to change their minds, so long as it's communicated on both sides that, number one, I acknowledge I'm changing my mind from the client side, and I acknowledge that this may introduce some additional work into the build. And then from the developer side or from the builder side, it needs to be clear that this is going to elongate the development time or the delay between receiving requirements and getting the first iteration out to the client by X amount of time. And sometimes clients can be a bit difficult with this because they want everything, rightly so, but they want it as quickly as possible, also rightly so. At the end of the day, you want your business to be as successful as possible, and part of that revolves around having good work done quickly. But if you rush too much, you can make it very difficult or impossible for good work to be done because you're rushing at every single point. And so I've seen brands that have spent lots and lots of money on these development builds that have snowballed into these massive projects way bigger than they should have been in the first place, way bigger than they were meant to be originally, and they've spent way more money with no end in sight. And that's just because there hasn't been clear communication and understanding from both sides of the equation that, okay, this task is going to take 2 weeks to do. If you make the change that you're suggesting, if we make that change for you, it's going to take an additional 3 days. If you want to make an additional change on top of that, it's going to take an additional 4 days. If you want to make an additional change on that, it's going to take an additional week. And then before you know it, you've doubled the timeline. It's gone from 2 weeks to get this piece done to 4 weeks. And if you keep doing that over and over again, you can go from a build that should have taken 12 weeks to take a year and a half, 2 years. I've seen that happen many times. And so you really want to have clear communication on this. And if the team that you're working with isn't giving you clear deadlines, it's a little bit of a red flag, but give them the benefit of the doubt if you're already working with them, and just ask them, hey, I want to change X, Y, and Z. How long will this add to the build time? And they'll appreciate that from you as well, because a lot of clients don't have that foresight, where they think that, some clients think that they can just change things and things will still get done in the same period of time. So it's really important to have that clear communication. So in a nutshell, what I would say is, number one, ensure that you have a clear design phase. Number two, make sure that you're not focusing just on the aesthetics, but also on the conversions on the website as well. And then number three, make sure that you have clear communication about deadlines, how long things are going to take, and when there's going to be delays, and when additional requirements or changes are going to affect those deadlines as well. Now, when we work with clients, we always make sure that we use Figma, as I said, to mock up designs first. We always want to make sure that designs don't just look good, but also convert well and fit your brand aesthetic at the same time. And we do always try to make sure that we're very clear if there is going to be a delay, or if clients have made an additional request and that is going to push us back a little bit. So if you would like to work with us, then please click the link down below and you can book a call either with myself personally or with a team member, and we can give you a free order on your Shopify store and hopefully help you guys improve your conversion rates and generate more revenue through your Shopify store without spending so much money and without having so much headache.